Welcome to AI Sports Predictor. Today, we're diving into 5 NBA games. Game 1, Raptors vs 76ers, February 11, 2025. Picture this. Two teams walking into the Wells Fargo Center like battered gladiators, bruised, limping, and desperate to make a statement. Who's coming out alive? Let's find out. October 25th, the Raptors stunned Philly 115-107. But let's not kid ourselves, Philly owns this rivalry, winning 8 of the last 10. Still, momentum's a funny thing. And right now, Philly's grip is slipping. 5 losses in 6 games. The kind of stretch that makes a team question itself. Toronto isn't faring much better. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Couldn't even crack 90 points against Houston last Sunday. They shot 36%. Let me put that in perspective. If you gave blindfolded high schoolers 42 threes, they might make more than 9. That's how bad it was. But the thing about Toronto? They survive. Scrappy. Ugly basketball is their bread and butter. Scotty Barnes, the man with the weight of Canada on his back, is putting up 19.9 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. Then you've got Grady Dick with 15.3 ppg and Emmanuel Quickley delivering 14.7 points and 5.8 assists. They don't play pretty, but they play hard. And when you've been beaten down enough, sometimes, you learn how to fight back. Philly's got talent for days. Tyrese Maxey is cooking with 28.1 ppg, Joel Embiid adds 24.8 when he's healthy. Paul George chips in 16.6, and Kelly Oubre Jr. gets dirty on the boards. But there's a problem. Talent doesn't always mean chemistry. When you've lost 3 straight and can't defend the arc, something's broken. The Bucks hit them with 24 threes last game. That's not defense, that's surrender. And the injuries? Both sides are walking into this game like boxers patched up between rounds. Toronto's without RJ Barrett, Jakob Poeltl, and PJ Tucker. Philly's missing Kyle Lowry, and Embiid's status is a question mark. It's a game of who can endure more pain and still stand by the fourth quarter. So, what do we have here? 2 desperate teams with shaky defense and injuries piling up. But desperation? That's Toronto's home court. They're 7-3 ATS in their last 10 games, and they're covering like clockwork. Meanwhile, Philly's at home but can't buy momentum, let alone create it. And today's AI pick is Toronto plus 7.5. Why Toronto? Because they know how to turn losses into betting wins. This isn't about who wins the game, it's about who keeps swinging when they've got nothing left. Toronto's a street brawler, bloodied, bruised, but still on their feet. Philly? They've forgotten how to block punches, and tonight, they're getting hit again. Remember, it's not always the prettiest fighter who walks out of the ring. Sometimes, it's the one who knows how to take the beating and keep moving forward. Alright, shake it off. Game 2's up next, let's go.
Game 2 New York Knicks vs. Indiana Pacers. 2 teams coming off rough losses, and both are desperate for redemption. Let's break it down. The Knicks. They just took a beatdown from Boston, 131-104. It wasn't pretty wire-to-wire domination. They were down by 11 after the first, by 13 at the half, and never once led. When a team like the Knicks lets the Celtics bully them like that, you know it cuts deep. But don't let that fool you. This team's a problem. They've won 7 of their last 9, and they're sitting 34-18, second in the Atlantic Division, and third in the Eastern Conference. That's no fluke. Jalen Brunson. This man's carrying the weight of New York on his back. 36 points against Boston. 26.3 points and 7.5 assists per game. When Brunson gets going, it's like watching a New York cab weaving through traffic at rush hour, smooth, unpredictable, and fast. Then there's Karl Anthony Towns, putting up 24 points and 13.5 boards per game. Together, they're the Knicks' 1-2 punch. And don't forget Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart. This roster's deep, and their offense is left the 5th in the league, dropping 117.7 points per game. They're hitting nearly 50% of their shots. When they're on, they're deadly. But here's the thing, New York isn't just about offense. They're ranked 9th in scoring defense, holding opponents to 111.8 points per game. They're solid from the charity stripe, 2/3 in free throw percentage at 80.6%. Efficient, disciplined, and dangerous. Now, Indiana. They've got their own demons to deal with after losing 124-117 to the Lakers. They were down 4-4-22 after the first quarter. Let that sink in. They made a push, even got within 4, but never quite recovered. And that's Indiana's season in a nutshell. Flashes of brilliance, but too many stretches where they just disappear. Pascal Siakam's their rock. He put up 23 points and 6 boards against the Lakers. Tyrese Halliburton dishes out 8.5 assists per game and contributes 17.8 points. They've got scorers Mathurin, Turner if he plays, and Obi Toppin all contribute. Offensively, they're 10th in the league with 115.7 points per game. They shoot nearly 49% from the floor, so they know how to put the ball in the basket. But there's a problem: he can't defend, ranked 20th in scoring defense, allowing 115.1 points per game. And they're brutal on the boards, sitting 28th in rebounding. That's a death sentence against a team like New York. This game comes down to whether the Pacers can outscore their defensive lapses. If they don't hit their shots, they're cooked. Meanwhile, New York will look to dominate the glass, feed Towns in the paint, and let Brunson work his magic on the perimeter. And today's AI pick is New York Knicks 110. Why the Knicks? Because Indiana bleeds points, and New York's too balanced not to take advantage. Towns and Brunson are the perfect combo to exploit the Pacers' soft defense and lack of rebounding. And let's face it, when you can't protect the glass or stop the opposition's top scorers, you're asking to get beat. Indiana will put up a fight, but they don't have the grit to hang with New York's offensive firepower and defensive discipline. Tonight, the Big Apple's biting back. That's Game 2 in the books. Let's keep rolling into Game 3.
Game 3, Detroit Pistons vs. Chicago Bulls. Two teams on different paths, on rediscovering its spark, the other searching for answers. Tonight, they collide in the United Center. Let's see who comes out on top. Detroit's been driving hard, and where they were a year ago compared to now. Night and day. Back-to-back wins have them over 0.5, and they're rolling into Chicago with the defense ranked 12th in the league. They're locking down opponents, grabbing the boards with the third best defensive rebounding rate, and defending the rim like their lives depend on it. But they've got a glaring weakness: 28th in three-point defense and 25th in free throw attempts allowed. If Chicago can exploit that, things could get messy. Offensively, Detroit's not flashy, but they get the job done. Cade Cunningham is a one-man highlight reel with 5.5 points, 9.5 assists per game. He's the conductor of this Pistons orchestra, and when he's on, the whole team plays in harmony. They're 14th in scoring, 15th in offensive rating, and 8th in offensive rebounding. They thrive on second chances. But turnovers? 20th in the league. They'll need to tighten up because this Bulls team can punish sloppy play. Now, Chicago's got a different story. They're 3-6 in their last 9 games, and it's been rough. Losing Zach LaVine at the trade deadline stings, but that's not their only problem. They're ranked 27th in defensive rating, and only one team allows more points per game. Their rim defense is a disaster, 5th overall, and they give up the most rim attempts in the league. It's like inviting opponents to dunk on them. But they're sneaky good at some things. 2nd in three-point defense, 14th in free throw attempts allowed. And offensively, they're quick, 3rd fastest pace in the league, 7th in scoring, and 8th in three-point percentage. Even with bottom 5 rim efficiency, they rank 12th in true shooting. The problem is consistency. One night, they light it up. The next, they fizzle out. Detroit already beat Chicago 127-119 on February 2nd, and they covered the spread. In 2 head-to-head meetings this season, the Pistons have shot better and controlled turnovers. The Bulls, they've been worse at home all season. If you're Chicago, you've got to wonder what's the plan tonight. Slow down Cade Cunningham. Protect the rim better. Or just pray Detroit has an off night. And today's AI pick is Detroit Pistons 3. Why the Pistons? Because defense wins games and Chicago can't defend a paper bag right now. Detroit's rebounding, rim protection, and Cade Cunningham's leadership give them the edge. And let's not ignore the numbers. Detroit's 4-2 ATS in their last 6, while Chicago's 2-4. The Bulls have allowed over 120 points in 4 straight games. That's not a slump, it's a collapse. The Pistons aren't just here to play, they're here to take over. Chicago. They'll be left picking up the pieces once this one's done. Game 3's in the books. On to Game 4, let's keep rolling.
Game 4, Memphis Grizzlies vs Phoenix Suns. The Western Conference showdown where one team's riding high, and the other's fighting for survival. Let's dive in. Memphis is 35-17 and sitting comfortably as the number 2 seed in the West. But don't let that fool you, they're coming off a wake-up call after getting smacked by the Thunder, 125-112. They trailed by as many as 28 points. Embarrassing, right? But this team doesn't dwell on losses. Desmond Bane put up 20 points and Ja Morant added 16 points and 7 assists. But the energy wasn't there. Tonight, expect the fire to return. This team's built for speed and aggression. 5th in offensive efficiency, 7th in defense, and playing at the fastest pace in the league. You blink, and they've scored on you. They're rebounding, 2nd in offensive boards. That's where they kill teams, second chance points. If you don't box out against Memphis, you're toast. Phoenix, on the other hand, they're hanging on for dear life. 1 win in their last 5 games, and they're sitting in the number 10 seed, tied with Golden State and Sacramento. They're struggling, and it shows. Against Denver, they shot 38.8% from the field and got bullied in the paint. No Kevin Durant, no Bradley Beal, no Grayson Allen. Devin Booker's doing what he can. He dropped 24 points against the Nuggets, but he can't carry this team by himself. And here's the kicker. Phoenix is 27th in defensive efficiency and 28th in defensive rebound percentage. That's a disaster waiting to happen against a team like Memphis. Even if Durant returns, the Suns will have a hard time containing the Grizzlies' relentless pace and rebounding. And today's AI pick is Memphis Grizzlies minus 3.5. Why Memphis? Because Phoenix can't defend or rebound. And Memphis thrives on exploiting teams like that. With or without Durant, the Suns are outmatched. Ja Morant and Desmond Bane will push the tempo, crash the boards, and leave Phoenix gasping for air. Now, let's recap all 4 picks from tonight's action. Game 1, Toronto Raptors plus 7.5. Because Toronto doesn't need to win, they just need to survive. Philly's got the talent, but they're in a slump, and the Raptors know how to cover. Game 2, New York Knicks minus 110. The Knicks' offense is too powerful, and the Pacers can't rebound or defend well enough to stop them. Towns and Brunson will have a field day. Game 3, Detroit Pistons minus 3. Detroit's defense and rebounding give them the edge over Chicago's crumbling defense. Cade Cunningham leads the charge. Game 4, Memphis Grizzlies minus 3.5. Phoenix is battered and struggling, and Memphis's fast-paced defense and rebounding dominance will be too much to handle. And that's the end of tonight's picks. If you're loving these AI predictions and you want to stay ahead of the sportsbooks, don't forget to like and subscribe to AI Sports Predictor. We've got more games, more picks, and more ways to win coming your way. See you next time.